I've been at this since I was 30, and as the years stack up, you realize you can't keep the mask on forever. It's time to let the chaos shine. For 3 decades, Johnny Carson welcomed America into their living rooms, the suave maestro of late-night television, his cool wit and unshakable charm a nightly ritual on The Tonight Show. Yet, beneath that polished veneer, even Carson, the master of control, couldn't always tame the wild unpredictability of live TV. Johnny was ready for anything, said a producer who worked with him for 15 years, but some moments broke through his armor, leaving him floored on national television. Tonight, we unravel the 16 most electrifying, unscripted, and unforgettable moments from Carson's 30-year reign. Times when the king of late night was swept away by rogue guests, raw emotions, or sheer bizarre twists no one could foresee. Number 8 sparked a flood of viewer letters, shocking some with Carson's rare candor while thrilling others with his unguarded honesty. But first, we dive into the tomahawk throw that ignited the most legendary laugh in TV history. A moment so perfectly chaotic it couldn't have been staged. Applause 1. Ed Ames' tomahawk fiasco. In April 1965, Ed Ames, star of NBC's Daniel Boone, stepped onto The Tonight Show stage to showcase his character's tomahawk throwing prowess. The setup was simple. Ames explained the technique. Carson nodded with interest, and a wooden cowboy silhouette stood as the target. Then, in a flash, Ames hurled the tomahawk, and it landed with pinpoint precision, right in the figure's crotch. The studio audience roared, but Carson's reaction turned a fluke into legend. He was a goner, a control room director recalled. Johnny doubled over, tears streaming, laughing so hard he couldn't speak for nearly 3 minutes. An eternity on live TV. Gasping for air, Carson finally quipped, "I didn't know you were Jewish." The line sent the audience into a fresh frenzy, showcasing his knack for nailing the perfect punchline amid chaos. "That was Johnny Unfiltered," an NBC executive said. In an era of polished stars, seeing him lose it was pure magic. The moment's authenticity, Carson's mask of control shattered by genuine hilarity, made it iconic, replayed endlessly, including in his 1992 farewell week, cementing it as The Tonight Show's most spontaneous triumph. 2. Don Rickles smashes Carson's cigarette box. Carson's desk was his sanctuary, every item meticulously placed, especially a cherished wooden cigarette box. So, when Don Rickles, guest hosting in October 1973, accidentally broke it, he knew he'd crossed a line. The next night, Carson aired his mock outrage, displaying the shattered box and vowing payback. Months later, learning Rickles was taping CPO Sharkey nearby, Carson staged an audacious ambush. Johnny just grinned during a commercial and said, "Let's crash Rickles' set," a producer recalled. The crew scrambled, hauling cameras across the NBC lot. Bursting into Rickles' live taping, Carson, in mock fury, confronted him mid-scene. "You broke my box." Rickles, in his Navy uniform, feigned shock as the Sharkey audience gasped. "I'm sorry, Johnny. I'll make it right," he stammered, before begging. "Keep me on your show. You mean the world to me." Carson shot back, "I don't care about your scene." The exchange, raw and unscripted, revealed their deep friendship beneath the banter. Johnny only pulled that with Don, a director noted. He loved being the foil for someone he trusted. The moment became a classic, replayed for its sheer spontaneity and Carson's rare break from his controlled persona. 3. Bette Midler's farewell song breaks Carson. As Carson's 30-year run neared its end in May 1992, the final shows brimmed with emotion. The penultimate episode, with Robin Williams and Bette Midler, promised laughs but delivered a heart-wrenching surprise. Midler, after playful banter, announced a special song for Carson, launching into a soulful "One for My Baby" and "One More for the Road." Singing directly to him, her voice carried the weight of goodbye. The camera caught Carson, the master of restraint, with tears glistening in his eyes. The studio was silent, a sound engineer recalled. We were watching Johnny, not the host, but the man, saying farewell to his life's work. Unlike his usual quips to deflect emotion, Carson let the moment linger, kissing Midler's hand and saying softly, "I can't top that." He didn't hide it, a director said. That vulnerability was rare and real. The moment, raw and unscripted, became a hallmark of Carson's humanity, a poignant farewell that resonated with millions. 4. Monkey Rex Carson's hair. Animal segments were a Tonight Show staple, always teetering on chaos. In 1979, handler Joan Steele brought a Capuchin monkey that took a shine to Carson's iconic hair. One moment it was calm, the next it was scaling Johnny's head like a tree. A camera operator laughed. Carson, whose perfectly styled hair was a point of pride, froze, his face a mix of resignation and amusement as the monkey mussed his locks. His hair was untouchable, a makeup artist said. Seeing it ruined by a monkey was priceless. Once the primate was wrangled, Carson, hair askew, deadpanned. "This is why I stick to cats." The audience roared. Johnny's gift was staying cool in chaos, a producer noted. He let us laugh with him, not at him. The clip, a fan favorite, showcased Carson's ability to turn disaster into comedy gold. 5. Steve Martin's Zany Magic Act. In 1980, Steve Martin, a trailblazer of absurd comedy, brought his great Flydini routine to The Tonight Show. Announcing a magic act, he proceeded to unzip his pants, pulling out eggs, a salt shaker, a ringing phone, and a tiny waving hand. Carson, playing the straight man, unraveled as the routine grew wilder. Johnny was genuinely cracking up, a writer recalled. Steve's absurdity caught him off guard. By the end, Carson was doubled over, barely containing his laughter. Johnny loved when someone surprised him, a producer said. Steve made him feel like a kid watching magic for the first time. The performance, a testament to Martin's revolutionary humor, highlighted Carson's joy in being swept up by a guest genius. 6. Robin Williams' Unstoppable Frenzy. Robin Williams' Tonight Show appearances were like tornadoes, dismantling Carson's orderly format. Robin was lightning you couldn't bottle, a writer said. In the early 1980s, promoting a film, Williams ignored the script, launching into rapid-fire impressions, leaping from his chair and turning Carson's desk into a stage. The control room was panicking, a director recalled. We didn't know where he was going, but Johnny just waved us off. Carson, usually the conductor, leaned back, wiping tears of laughter, content to be a spectator. Robin kept Johnny guessing, and he loved it, a producer said. After years of predictable interviews, Robin was a gift. Williams' chaotic brilliance, paired with Carson's willingness to surrender control, made these moments legendary. 7. Don Rickles roasts Sinatra. In 1976, Frank Sinatra, a towering figure with a fearsome reputation, sat on Carson's couch. Most comedians tiptoed around him, but Don Rickles dove in, roasting Sinatra with glee. Everybody thinks he's so great. He's overrated. Carson's face betrayed nervous laughter, aware of Sinatra's temper. Johnny was tense, a producer said. Frank didn't always take jokes well. Rickles pushed further, grabbing Sinatra's knee. "I'm kidding, Frank. I love you. Can I get a ride home?" Sinatra's laughter diffused the tension, and Carson relaxed, marveling at Rickles' audacity. Don took a real risk, Carson later said. The moment, a clash of titans, showed Carson's knack for fostering unpredictable magic. 8. Dolly Parton's jaw-dropping exchange. In 1977, Dolly Parton, known for her talent and bold style, joined Carson for a lively chat. As they bantered, Carson, eyeing her low-cut blouse, quipped, "I'd give a year of my life to peek under there." The audience gasped and laughed, but Parton, ever gracious, deflected with a smile. The control room froze. a director said. It was bold for Johnny, who was usually a gentleman. The comment sparked a deluge of viewer mail, some delighted by his candor, others offended. Johnny knew he'd gone too far, an NBC executive said, but Dolly took it in stride, calling it a compliment. The moment, a rare misstep for Carson, reflected a shifting cultural landscape, where lines once crossed casually faced scrutiny. 9. Bob Hope's stale jokes test Carson. Bob Hope, a comedy giant, was a Tonight Show regular, but by the 1980s, his appearances grew painful. In his late 70s, Hope relied on dated cue card jokes, disconnected from audiences. Johnny dreaded those nights, a writer said. Bob was a legend, but his material was stuck in the 60s. During a mid-1980s show, Hope's flat political and golf gags left Carson forcing smiles, his tight jaw signaling discomfort. Johnny muttered backstage, "Bob just talks, he doesn't listen," a producer recalled. Carson's respect for comedy's roots made these moments bittersweet, a reminder of time's toll on even the greats. 10. Jimmy Stewart's poem stuns Carson. In 1981, Jimmy Stewart shared a poem about his late dog, Bo, expecting a light moment. Instead, his tender reading, "And there are nights I reach to stroke his hair, but he's not there," left Carson speechless, tears in his eyes. Johnny was floored, a director said. It wasn't staged emotion. Carson let the silence linger, honoring the moment's depth. He didn't crack a joke, a producer noted. That was Johnny the man, not the host. The segment, raw and heartfelt, became a cherished memory of Carson's vulnerability. 11. Snake slithers toward Carson. Joan Embry's animal segments were always dicey, but a late 1970s Burmese python stole the show. As Embry spoke, the snake slid off the desk toward Carson, who leapt up, his alarm sparking laughter. Johnny wasn't acting, a floor director said. He didn't love big reptiles. Once contained, Carson quipped, "Someone check my pants." The moment, exposing his relatable fear, endeared him to viewers. Johnny let us see the guy next door, a producer said. 12. George Carlin's censorship dig. In 1983, George Carlin, a boundary pusher, slipped a sly jab at network censorship into a monologue, using clever wordplay about stupid and senile. Carson's knowing smile signaled he caught it. Johnny loved George's wit, a writer said. He let it slide, respecting the craft. NBC got complaints, but Carson defended Carlin, saying, "If they missed it, he earned it." The moment, a wink at censorship's absurdity, showcased Carson's subtle rebellion. 13. Dean Martin's drunken charade. Dean Martin's boozy persona was a crowd pleaser, and in a 1970s appearance, he leaned hard into it, slurring, stumbling, and shrugging off a golf story with, who cares?" Carson played the straight man, feeding Martin's setups. Johnny knew it was an act, a producer said. He let Dean shine. The ambiguity, real or staged, electrified the studio, proving Carson's skill at amplifying a guest's charm. 14. Carson halts his monologue. In the early 1980s, Don Rickles heckled Carson's monologue from backstage, disrupting the sacred routine. Carson, mid-joke, stopped and called, "Don, get out here." Rickles sauntered out, feigning innocence, and Carson brought him on early, ditching his script. Johnny thrived on that chaos, a stage manager said. Don was one of the few who could derail him and get away with it. The moment, a testament to their bond, showed Carson's love for spontaneity. 15. Sammy Davis Jr.'s Impression Blitz. In the 1970s, Sammy Davis Jr. turned a casual chat into a dazzling display, mimicking Sinatra, Jerry Lewis, and Jimmy Stewart in under a minute. Carson, clutching his stomach, laughed helplessly. Sammy was a force, a producer said. Johnny knew how rare that talent was. The unscripted brilliance, born from Davis's decades with these stars, left Carson in awe, a rare moment where he was just a fan. 16. Schwarzenegger's German prank. By the mid-1980s, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a rising action star. Promoting a film, he answered Carson in German, leaving the host baffled. Johnny looked at us like, "What's happening?" A producer said. Carson, embracing the absurdity, replied with fake German, sparking laughter. Schwarzenegger finally broke, revealing the prank. Johnny loved being part of the gag, a director noted. He didn't need to control it. The moment, a playful test of Carson's wit, capped his legacy of thriving in chaos. Johnny Carson's 30 years on The Tonight Show were defined by these unscripted gems, where his poise met the unpredictable. His legacy, humor, heart, and humanity lives in these moments. If this journey thrilled you, hit like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more tales of TV's golden age. Thanks for watching. Check our latest videos on your screen. See you next time.